Part 3, you will hear two students discussing a research project with their tutor. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Good morning, Aisha, Marcus. I have read your proposal on microbreaks and reading accuracy. Let us go through the pilot study first. What do you think was the main weakness?
We had enough students, 16 in total, and the passage length seemed manageable. The real problem was that students chose their own break times, so some paused after 3 minutes and others after nearly 12.
That makes the method inconsistent. We cannot claim that the break itself caused any difference if the timing varied so much.
Exactly, your methodology needs a controlled break point. Otherwise, a student who pauses early may simply be using a different reading strategy from someone who pushes on until the end. Now you also used a self-report survey. What role should that play?
I wanted to remove it because it is subjective.
I would not remove it. Use it as background evidence only. The survey can tell you how students felt, but it should not be the main measure.
Then our main outcome should remain the error rate in written summaries. Reading speed was interesting, but it varied with typing speed, and satisfaction was even less reliable.
I agree, error rate in the summaries is concrete and easier to evaluate. You can define an error as a missing key idea, an inaccurate detail, or a statement that contradicts the original text.
We were going to use phone reminders so students knew when to pause, but Marcus is worried about that.
Yes, if a phone vibrates, it may affect attention. The reminder becomes part of the experiment, not just an instruction.
That is a fair concern. Use a quiet signal from the researcher instead. Now, be careful with the conclusion. You cannot say microbreaks improve recall. At this scale, you can only present a relationship, not a cause.
So the conclusion should say there was an association between a fixed break and fewer errors. We can also say that a larger study would be needed before making stronger claims.
Before you hear the rest of Part 3, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Good, now let us turn those points into recommendations. First, the sample. At the moment, all participants are psychology students. Recruit from 2 courses, perhaps psychology and history, so the sample is not tied to one discipline.
That should also reduce the risk that everyone already knows the same study techniques. History students may approach the text differently from psychology students, which is useful for a small study like ours.
For break length, 5 minutes is sensible. 2 minutes may be too brief to have an effect, and 10 minutes changes the task too much.
So we use 5-minute breaks for everyone.
Yes, for the room setting, keep the same classroom for all sessions. If one group works in a quiet seminar room and another in a busy computer lab, the room becomes a confounding variable.
That means we book the same room on 2 mornings, rather than using whatever is free.
Correct, for task instructions, pilot them first. Even small ambiguities in the summary task could affect the error count.
We can test the wording with 3 volunteers before the main data collection. If they ask the same clarification questions, we will know the wording is not precise enough.
Finally, for the analysis, compare change scores. Do not just compare the final number of errors, because the groups may differ at the start. Measure how much each student's error rate changes from the first text to the second.
That gives us a fairer comparison.
Good, make those revisions and send me the updated plan by Friday.
That is the end of Part 3. Now turn to Part 4.